Hi, welcome to my channel. Hey guys, welcome back. We're going to be finishing out the semester by revisiting some of the sketching techniques we used for rendering with markers. And what I have here in front of us is a really interesting and fun exercise that allows us to translate those marker techniques over to the current project, which is designing a tow vehicle and a trailer. Okay, so what I've done is, I know that we've been preparing our drawings using tracing paper, so what we're going to do is we're going to demonstrate how we're going to use markers and marking pens on tracing paper. Okay, so we're going to take this from the top. So let me just pull this sheet. Okay, so this is our final project. We're actually one of our final drawings, which is going to be the sport trailer and the tow vehicle. All right. And one of the other projects is going to be rendering out the accommodation page. As you can see, it's a cutaway view that has the roof section, which is the exterior of the trailer. There's going to be soft material such as this tent extension, and there's going to be this whole interior design which has soft bedding. There's going to be hard floor surfaces. There could be possibility for wall panels and cast shadows from the netting. There's going to be more cast shadow opportunities here with the vestibule tent structure. And there's also going to be some telescopic structures here that allows the cap to be deployed. All right. So again, there's also some other details in the exterior, but I just wanted to kind of share with you some of the challenges that we have ahead. All right. So let's start off with going through our drawing exercises, but let's first kind of gather our art supplies. And I don't have them in front of me here, but I'm going to take them out progressively to kind of share with you some of the things. And let me see if I can zoom in just a little bit so you can kind of get a bigger view of what we're going to be doing. We're going to be using two values of every color that we're going to use. And the reason why we're doing this is because it gives us an opportunity to look at the core color, and it gives us an opportunity to take that color and create gradients. Okay, now it's going to be a little different for this demo, but it still relies on the same principles of what we've been doing all semester. Okay, again, here's an example of a warm color, red, which is a carmine red, and a pink. And again, this adds a little more white to the red, which gives us that gradient. Okay, and then we'll go over to the other spectrum where, let's say we want to do something in black, right? So what do we do with black? And obviously black does have a gradient when it starts to move away, definitely when you're subjecting it to compound forms, compound, which means convex and concave forms. It also works on flat surfaces as well. So to kind of assist us with the black to give us the gradients, we're going to flank both sides of the black with a cool gray 5 and a cool gray 7. And between those two markers plus the black, we'll be able to get a good range. Okay, and then I'm going to sneak in a blue. Okay, and I'm going to sneak in an earth tone. All right, now I'll share with you a little later how those will play into the demo. All right, so let's pull those markers aside and let's get started. Okay? Now what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to draw some very simple shapes. I'll draw it in elevation view, and then I'll draw it in perspective so we can see the translation. All right, I'm working on a medium weight tracing paper pad. Again, I always recommend you guys, whether you're working on tracing paper or bond paper, work on a pad of paper or several sheets of paper, and it'll give you a much smoother drawing. It's going to be a lot easier on your markers, and it'll make them last a lot longer. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to start off with my Sharpie pen. Again, I like using pens that have like a double nib on them. So this one's going to be the ultra fine nib. And again, I employ the draw through. I encourage you to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and draw 3 rectangles. Okay. And you've seen this demo done once before, but I just wanted to kind of share with you on this specific assignment so you'll be able to see the translation again, okay, and how it applies to what we're doing. All right. So what I'm doing here is I'm just introducing this elevation view and I'm bending the surface so that we're creating a convex condition. Okay. Now what we're going to do down below is we're going to have a corresponding set, but watch what I do. You see how I interrupt that surface with a convex surface? All right. See how I curve the section and I pull out sort of a scallop through the middle? And we'll do one more here. Okay. Oh, we'll do this one a little differently, just to kind of shake things up a bit. All right. So this one's got kind of a V groove that's cut into it. And you can see it isn't quite as oblong or soft as the first two. All right. So I first create a set of line drawings, and then what we do is we use this as sort of our control sample, and then we then translate that as we move down this column of drawings. Okay. All right. So we'll go ahead and cap off our Sharpie pen and start off with our rendering technique. Now, as you know, I always like this cerulean blue. It's like one of my favorite colors. It always gives me a good value range. It delivers a good value range. But again, for this technique, we're going to add a lighter value, which is this pastel blue. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do, as you know, when we're working on tracing paper, is once you have the line work done on the top side, pull it off and let's flip it. Okay. So we're working now on the back side of the page. And what you want to do is you always want to work, when you're working on tracing paper sketches, with the pure color. So this is the pure color that I want to project. So I'm going to go ahead and put this color right down the middle. Okay. And then I'm going to rotate my nib and just throw in a thin reflection. Okay. And again, this is also a reflection. Let me just say that, go on record. This just gives you a little more variety and range in the reflection. Okay. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take this lighter blue and you're going to go from the very top. Okay. Remember that I flipped this drawing over, right? You see, I flipped this drawing over. So this is still the top, but we're applying marker on the back side. And you want to take the lighter blue, the powder blue, and watch what I do with it. I bury in the value. I go in with a Venetian stroke, right? And then I create a gradient going right up to the horizon. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to color into this region. You need to kind of have this gradient go from white, because again, this is representing the horizon. And you know, as the sun sets, it's always going to be a little brighter right at the horizon. Okay. And then I'll take that same blue and I'm going to now come right up underneath this darker blue and create a gradient down to the bottom. And when you start to take this lighter marker and you run it into the darker marker, the main color, you see what it does is it starts to blend and bleed that color out. And magically what it does is it allows you to bleed that color out, which is just the right value that you want to create a difference between the top sky tones, right? The lighter, pure light blue, and this darker ground tone. Okay. Now, what I recommend doing is when you finish doing something like this, go ahead and have a fresh sheet of tracing paper or some wasted tracing paper, and you want to clean out your marker. Okay, and it just takes a few strokes, just a few little scrubs, and it just takes out whatever residue that you might have picked up here in the darker color. All right. So to wrap that up, you're going to flip back over to the top side. All right. And let me see if I can zoom in so you can see a little more closer at the details. Okay. Because it's good to see the contrast levels that we're trying to achieve. Okay. So this is basically the raw marker that's on the back side. But now we flipped it on the top side. What you want to do is take that same pure color. Okay. We'll take the cork off. Now you can use the bullet nose if you want to have a little more control. And you want to bury in one or two more layers of that pure color. And you can see right away the contrast levels have come up. You see how it's a lot stronger now? And there is your final rendered surface. Okay? See how easy that was? That was just like 1, 2, 3. So what we're going to do is we're going to repeat that same process, and we're going to do it with the perspective view, where I've taken that control value, right, the control image, and now I'm bending it. I'm bending it over. So let's go ahead and flip this page over. Okay. Again, same two markers. Okay. Same two markers. Pure color and a tint of it, which is a little bit lighter. Okay. So I'm going to take this color. And now you guys can see where we were, right? So I'm not going to zoom out. I'd rather kind of stay zoomed in so you can really see what's going on. So again, pardon me for rotating my canvas, but this really works the best. So we're going to do the same thing. Okay, we get the main reflection down, and then we go ahead and create another thin reflection going straight across, right? So do that first. Next thing you do is take your lighter value of the blue, which is the tinted blue, and you start from the top. Okay, see how the surface is angled more towards the sky? That means it's going to be the most blue up in here. And as you come down towards the horizon, you notice how the blue turns, it starts to become a gradient because you're reaching the horizon, which is normally where the light is the brightest, where the sun is setting. Okay, and then you skip all of that, take that same lighter blue and start to blend into the darker main color. Okay, you see that? Okay, now don't go too much into it, because what will happen is you'll start to thin this pigment or this dye, and you'll start to get white spots, and it's going to be really hard to repair. Okay, and then what you want to do is immediately take that color and carry it downward. Okay, you see how it's much darker, but you still have a gradient. All right, avoid going all the way down to the bottom, and I'll show you in another demo why we don't do that. All right, so once you've completed the sky tone and the ground tone, remember the ground tone blends, right? Turn it over. Let's come back over with the pure color, okay, which is the darker blue, right here, right? I'm using the broad nib, right? And you go over that one center section in the thin reflection, one pass, maybe two passes if you want, and there's your reflection. Okay, isn't that cool? And it's so easy. It's so easy. All right. So let's do this last one, and then we'll kind of wrap up this video, and then we'll on the next video cover the black and the warm color. So let's go ahead and finish this one. Okay. So you guys remember the routine, right? So same thing, right? Control, convex. Convex. Now we're going to do concave. Okay. So now this one is a little different because you're going to have a concave surface on this forward leading edge. So bring it all the way up to this border, okay? Repeat the same condition with a small reflection, all right? Now, as you remember from previous demos in class, this is a convex surface. So we all remember convex is an upside down. It's a reverse of everything you see, right? So what you want to do is you want to come in here now with the core reflection. Okay, now it's got a taper. Remember, right? The tapered forms. So remember to make sure that you also taper the reflection. All right. Now we cork that, and we come back over with our light color. Okay, do the same thing as we did up here. Okay, go heavy, and then go light. Okay, remember it's always bright right up against the horizon. And before you do the bottom, okay, because you get all excited, you want to do the bottom. Remember the convex or the concave surface. Okay, that's going to be sky tone 2, right? It's an upside down version of this reflection. So make sure you do that. And again, don't go up into the white area. Allow that to be bright. All right. Now you want to come back in over, and remember how we kind of bled into the main color, and you create a gradient going down. All right. Same technique. And then when you're done, cork your marker. Let's flip it over. Okay. Again, let's use the broad nib. Okay. And we're going to do what? We're going to strengthen the reflection, okay, both in the convex and the concave, all right? Now, if you want to go darker, okay, go 3 or 4 passes in here, but try not to get into this area because you need this contrast in here, okay? So what you want to do is try to create a little bit of a kind of a shadowing effect by going maybe 2 or 3 extra times here, but that's all you really need, all right? Now, to finish off this demo, what I want to do is, and it's always good practice, guys, all right? Come back in with your Sharpie, with your strong tip, your refined tip, and strengthen your line work, okay? Very important. All right? Oh, I forgot that little extra that I mentioned, all right? Now, we talked a little bit about keeping this area light, and the reason why is this, all right? Now, because we're doing a trailer project and the trailer is going to be on the road, right? So it's going to pick up some road debris or earth tones, so to speak. What you want to do is be able to reflect that into the body panel. And I'm so happy I remembered to do this, all right? So that's where this earth tone, now the color I'm using here is called oatmeal, okay? or honeycomb in this case. All right, and this is a pro marker. Again, it doesn't really matter what marker you use as far as manufacturer, as long as it has the right value. Okay, and that's what you're looking for. You're looking for this tan color. All right, and what you want to do is now flip your page over, and you want to now do a little bit of kind of thinking out loud. Okay, so let's say it's sitting on the roadside, and the roadside has a bit of dirt. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and render just a little bit of that kind of earth tone dirt. Well, guess what? When this surface is facing downward, okay, against the dirt, well, guess what it's going to do? It's going to absorb some of that color right into the body panel. You see that? Okay. Now, it's not going to go all the way over. We're going to do a mirror reflection, so it's going to be like a 90-degree relationship up against that surface. Okay, and that's all you have to do. And you don't have to render into the horizon, right? Just render into the ground tone, because that's exactly what it is. It's the ground tone. Okay? And then when you're done, just flip the drawing over, and you don't have to do an extra thing. All right? Well, maybe one more thing. We're going to go in and strengthen our line work on our sketch. Okay. All right, let's zoom out and see what we got. I know this video is running a little bit longer than normal, but I think it's important for us to kind of at least establish kind of where we're going with regards to applying this essential technique, because it really repeats itself. No matter where you're going on your drawing, you're going to have this 1, 2, 3. You're going to have the same formula with this particular medium and this technique. All right. So stay tuned to the next video. We're going to go ahead and continue with 2 more colors. Okay, an extreme black and with a warm color, and let's pick up from where we left off. All right. So see you at the next video.